Let's move on to the third megatrend, which is correcting the systematic undervaluation of the security. And this is something I've also been talking to a lot of my constituents a lot about is I don't think a lot of people realize the value of the security system, not just video and the VMSs and the video management system, but access control, the building, automation and intrusion systems. Like all this is part of like the overall bigger facility system that the customer is managing. So what is your take on this?
Well, honestly, I don't think this is really a new one. I just think
Yeah,
it's really bubbled to the surface.
yeah,
I recall well over probably 10, 15 years ago working with a school board, and
hmm
their security was a cash allowance at the end of the construction project. That's how little value they
yeah,
held, to their security budgets, right? But it is seen as a cost center to a lot of
it is.
organizations. So when it's a cost center to an organization, they see very little value in return, right? And when we look at what we're trying to do in the security industry nowadays, we are bringing a lot of valuable data and insights to an organization, and
hmm
I think the industry, when we look at it tends to be a little slow to adapt to a lot of these emerging technologies, right? I was at a consultant event where the consultants were concerned that they're about around a decade behind when they're in the industry with some of these emerging trends. So how do we uh, increase that adoption rate, right?
hmm
Well, this is tied to the other mega trends. Is we need the channels to pick up the
Yes.
ball and pick up
hmm
their skill sets and be able to sell and bring that value to the customers as
Yeah.
well, right? So, it's really bringing that extra value to the end users, whether it be through the security technology and how we leverage it, maybe even for other outcomes to bring
hmm
that value to an organization.
Yeah.
So it's not seen as a cost center anymore, right? We can use it for different. We can use these systems for different purposes to drive cost efficiencies, revenue, and different ideas like that. Where now they're going to see a value in this system, right? And
Yeah.
it may not just be that cost center anymore.
No, no, exactly. And a lot of organizations are very comfortable with these more bigger type of systems, right? Whether they're ERP or CRMs that really generate revenue or improve cost efficiencies for the organization. And I think there a lot of early adopters, especially some of the bigger end customers, are realizing that these systems, whether it's the video surveillance systems, the access control, the building automation, the lighting system, all of these are becoming much more of that ecosystem that we talked about, and they're
Yeah.
realizing, oh, there's a tremendous amount of value. And I think what's accelerated this also, and I agree with you, this has been around for a while, but I think what has accelerated and bubbled it up to the top for us a little bit more was, I think, the pandemic. Because with the
Hmm.
pandemic, when everybody was staying home, and then when we got out of the pandemic, I heard a lot of trends from a lot of customers trying to understand just the usability of their facilities, of their office spaces, of their logistics, things like that. Like, was it really designed properly? Was it set up correctly? And I think that's where I'm starting to see a lot of that bubbling up to the top, where they're realizing that is a value proposition, that the systems can actually help them save money, but also potentially generate revenue too in certain aspects of their organization, depending upon the data that it's providing them. And I think that's another key aspect. The other key thing that I like to also bring up is that in the AI industry, these architectures have evolved over the last couple of years to be very, very robust and very solid when it comes to the output. But they've been training these models on public data, and again, they look at the security industry as, here's data that hasn't been exposed, that hasn't been trained, that's very dynamic, that is also very valuable. So a lot of end customers are realizing, hey, we apply those technologies or those architectures to our own data that we're holding. Is there things that we can solve? Are there business outcomes and business challenges we can solve with our own information, and we don't have to go outside? And I think that's another trend that's kind of bubbling up, that's kind of feeding this right here, is that
Hmm.
a lot of security practitioners that are slow to adopt to it. I'm pretty sure you and I, we don't see that because we talk to a lot of like larger consultants, a lot of end customers that are already putting this into their plan, their data strategy plan. They're already starting to see this. They're already starting to see the value of the system.
Yep, definitely.
Perfect.